opponents will argue that Colin Craig has simply brought a protest. But I haven't been paid to be here, and I don't think you've been paid to be here, have you? Colin Craig has simply raised an issue, and that is democracy. And when families speak, should politicians listen? Of course they should. So would you welcome, please, Colin Craig.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, everybody. I will not waste words this afternoon. I'm not here to try and paint some glorious picture with wonderful words, and you didn't come to hear some great oratory performance. We're here today because we realise something is wrong with our democracy. The government, both current and previous, have not listened to the people of New Zealand. When referendums have been held and the people spoken in overwhelming numbers, the government has not heeded our voice. You will hear details of this in the brief speeches that follow. Instead, the government has employed a strategy in which it dictates to us what is best for our lives. If we don't believe them, they will spend our taxes setting out to convince us and to convert us to their point of view. We have seen in recent days a new strategy in which a super city can be created, changing local representation without recourse to a vote of those affected. A strategy of let's not hear from the people because it might not suit us. Just look at how long we are having to wait for a referendum on MMP. I'm reminded of the words that C.S. Lewis spoke. Of all tyrannies, a tyranny exercised for the good of its victims may be the most oppressive. For those who torment us for our own good will torment us without end, because they do so with the approval of their conscience. These are prophetic words. In an age when the politically correct agenda is being driven by an ideology that would result in nothing less than government interference in every aspect of our lives. We, the people, are labelled ignorant. We are told we must not have understood the question. Perhaps we have not been listening to their experts long enough. The common sense voice of the people of this country is falling on deaf ears. This has to stop. As a majority in this country, we have sat back confident that our voice will prevail. But we must be honest. We are not prevailing. We are being led where we do not wish to go. Listen today, for you will hear something special. You will hear the truth from ordinary New Zealanders, a voice the government seems only too keen to ignore.
Thank you, Colin Craig. A couple of months ago, 87% of New Zealanders voted in a referendum, and the government offered comfort. It's not comforting when a government is willing to be elected on 45% and yet doesn't accept the voice of 87%. That's not very comforting, is it? And I want to invite two special people to just talk about that referendum. One is Cheryl Saville, who's a mum and who's involved with the Drug Proofing Your Kids program, and her name was put as a sponsor of the referendum, and Bev Adair, who's a spokesman for Family First New Zealand, and they're going to come and briefly share. Cheryl Saville first.
Thank you all for coming out tonight. Today it's a fantastic turnout. It won't surprise you that I voted no in the smacking referendum. Who voted no? Yeah, we voted no. With 1.4 million other people, we voted no. Kiwis that want to see the real issues of child abuse addressed, and good parents like yourselves who are raising and doing their best job that they can to raise good, law-abiding, wonderful, fantastic children. Is that what we want? Yeah, that's right. I don't want to be criminalised for using a light smack, and I don't think you want to be, and you shouldn't be. John Key labelled the law as a complete and utter dog's breakfast, and that to link a light smack with child abuse was insulting. We agree. That's right. Yet he hasn't changed what was in his power to change. And I believe that we, good parents, good families of this country, deserve certainty, respect, and our vote should count. Yeah. So do we know the difference between a light smack and child abuse? Yes. Do we want the Prime Minister to change the law? Yes. Did we understand the referendum question? Yes. Do we want to live in a democracy? Yes. Do we want to tackle the real issues of child abuse? Yes. So let's deal with it. Let's deal with the stress, the poverty, the drugs, the alcohol abuse, and family breakdown. And let's protect our precious children. Thank you.
It's just awesome to see you all here, and your presence and your feet being here does count on behalf of our children. From my earliest years, I lived with family violence, and the experience was graphic. But I won't go into the detail because there are children here today. I have been through 17 welfare homes. It gives you an idea of the level of family dysfunction that I grew up in. I spent most of my life being ashamed of being Māori because of what was done to me, but have spent these last few years finding out the good of being Māori, and that's been a great journey for me. And I'm here to be a voice for the voiceless, our precious babies, who I believe have a right to be brought up in a safe, nurturing environment. Right. The way forward for New Zealand is to face up to the reality of what is happening. Things should have improved since my childhood, but it hasn't. Instead, things have got a whole lot worse. We have a problem when welfare rewards dysfunction. Welfare should help people out of dysfunction rather than trap them in it. And I can say that from experience. We can make smoking unacceptable, and we can make sure seatbelts are worn. So why can't we make it unacceptable to form bad relationships and go from one relationship to another? Why can't we try to make better partner choices and encourage marriage so that we can make a stable, caring home for our children? Thank you. Drugs and alcohol and the breakdown of the family are at the heart of the child abuse problem. How many talk fests do we need to have to wake up to this fact? With the recent Vote No campaign, you may be saying right now, why was I one of the faces of the Vote No campaign? Don't I want child abuse dealt with? And I've been asked that many times because of my background. Let me be very, very clear. As a victim of child abuse, I want to deal with the real issues. Yeah. Criminalising good parents is not the answer.